这个要给他留。Test. 1 2 1 2.
Good morning, everyone. This morning we start Khenchen Rinpoche's teaching. So just remember, tomorrow is 1 hour different than today. It's for the daylight change. So tomorrow will be the time is everybody have to check, make sure it's on time. Okay. Thank you for joining us. We thanks Rinpoche teaching for us.
Thank you.
And last night the teaching, many people say the teaching is very profound, so wonderful. So also Rinpoche, one student last night, because the teaching is so good, so she has a question. Her friend love to listen to your teaching, but she didn't take a refuge for any other lamas.
Okay.
So is it okay to listen to the teaching?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, let's start. Yes.
Okay.
I'm just waiting.
Okay, we're going to read opening prayers one time each prayer. Okay. All mothers, sentient beings, limitless as space, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience. Suffering, swiftly obtain precious, unsurpassed, perfectly complete enlightenment. For that purpose, until I attain Buddhahood, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. Until death, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. From today until this time tomorrow, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. I take refuge in the Buddhas until I attain the essence of awakening. Likewise, I take refuge in the Dharma and in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. Just as the Buddhas of the past gave rise to bodhicitta and progressed along the Bodhisattva's path, so shall I give rise to bodhicitta for the benefit of all beings and practice the stages of the Bodhisattva's path. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. May all mothers, sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. An infinite array of worlds, each with 4 continents and a wealth of infinite oceans of realms. If I bring them all to mind and offer them without exception, please hold with compassion all the beings they contain. Enjoyments in whatever I own, my aggregates, elements, and sense sources, my aspirations now and in times to come, as well as everything I grasp as mine. By offering them all, may I be blessed with the end of self-grasping, completely liberated into the bounds of real and unreal, transcending the names and attributes of arising, cessation, and abiding, coming and going, affirmation and denial. The supreme mandala is the natural state. By offering it, may I be blessed to attain the state of Buddhahood. Om Guru Deva Dakini Ratna Mandala Praticha Soha. Please turn the wheel of the Dharma, of the greater and lesser vehicles, and the teachings common to both, according to the dispositions and mental capacities of sentient beings.
Good morning, everybody. Hello, everybody. First, we just relax, just reflect our mind. That's where we are. And then rest the body and the mind together. And then cultivate the altruistic thought, the mind, to achieve complete enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. So today, I will reflect on the Buddha's teaching, the Heart Sutra, to purify our own mind and then cultivate the mind, the bodhicitta, to achieve the complete enlightenment, Buddhahood, for the benefit of all sentient beings. So this kind of thought, the cultivation of the mind, is crucial to start with for our study and practice of Dharma. That becomes the cause to free from samsara and to achieve the total peace and happiness. So with this now, we make sure we have this motivation. With this mind, then we say inhale, breathe in fully, with the Buddha's love and compassion, and heal our mind totally, and breathe out all the stress, mental afflictions, obscurations. So this will help us to have the mindfulness of the mind, to reflect the teachings. And next we follow the text itself. I will read and go through step by step. This in the name of this mentioned there here. You see there, the Sutra of the Heart of the Glorious Lady Panjaparamita. Here, the glorious lady, I think we should say this glorious mother translation. No, it's my suggestion. It's my suggestion. Panjaparamita is called in Tibetan Yumchamu Shiraki Porochimba, the great mother, the transcendental wisdom, it is said. Why I said the mother is the mother gives birth to a child. So this transcendental wisdom give birth of the Buddha, Bodhisattva, Charavaka, but the Buddha. So that's why its mother maybe is more appropriate. So this is where our understanding, you see, all the Buddha's teaching right from the beginning is designed, taught to purify all our mental afflictions, mental delusions. As yesterday we have discussed a little bit about the teachings, and as you have read many books, received teachings, everybody in the samsara is suffering, physically or mentally. So all the root cause of suffering is mental delusion. We are confused to see things, how things are exist. Our perception of the phenomena is artificial. We don't see things as they are. As in the Heart Sutra, form is emptiness. We have to see the form, the nature of the form as emptiness. But we don't see the form as emptiness. We see the form as a concrete, real, tangible. No? So this is our confusion. That confusion is based on our ignorance. The ignorance makes the mind to see, everything's like real. Well, it is like changing. We don't see how everything's changing. Now in the impermanence, every second, every moment is changing. We don't see that how it is changing. We see as a real, as yesterday mentioned, So, I said this when I was young, this when I was, this, that, all this, something I'm just real. We're perceiving that. If I could see this when I was a child, now totally different. How much has changed? How much now is everything's illusory nature? That gives us a beginning to see things, how they constitute in the illusory nature. So the wisdom here, there now, gives us that kind of opportunity to see how things are now. So there are many different, as yesterday mentioned, wisdom of hearing, wisdom of the contemplation, and wisdom of the meditation. Called Tebe Sherab, Sambe Sherab, Kombe Sherab. First you study, this kind of hearing, study. Then once you study, contemplate about that meaning. And then once you understood, when you're fully convinced, then we put into practice the meditation. So through that, we get all the opportunity to purify our confusion, to purify our delusion. So go through this step by step. They are called 3 trainings. I'm sure you have heard of 3 training. The training of the morality, the training of the meditative concentration, and the training of the wisdom awareness. So these all steps are very important. Now, we like to hear just direct emptiness, Mahamudra, Dzogchen awareness. So all this is mind. It is, but if we don't take the steps, which is in a complete method, step by step, then we cannot get the complete benefit. So if you go by step that way, then we get all the benefit. Like so when you cook, we need to have us today, what should I cook? You bring together all the ingredients. It's like the morality, moral ethics. Then once you have that, all these things put together, all the right ingredients, when you have this, and there we start cooking, chopping vegetables, so forth. We need such mental discipline or karma abiding, samadhi, with kind of your full attention. Once you prepare all these things, then we need wisdom, whether it's cooked, not cooked, whether it's how much the salt is there, all these things. So when you have all these 3 training regarding to the cooking, you get one complete dish made. Same thing now with this, our meditation practice. We need this called morality, means avoiding all the cause of the unfavorable conditions. Bring together all the cause of the positive, all the condition put together. So that's called morality. As mentioned yesterday, Buddha prescribed all this, what's good for us. That when Buddha said, do these things means it's good for us to maintain our mind. And then when Buddha said, don't do these things, means these are the cause of the suffering, and giving us wisdom to free from the undesirable condition. Once we have this called morality, then there is a samadhi, meditative concentration, how our mind should be calm, relax, rest in the one-pointed state. Once mind is well established in the one-pointed state, which is in the state of the virtue, then there is a critical wisdom can give rise. When the critical wisdom is give rise, manifest on the base of the karma abiding, then all our mental afflictions, mental delusions has no, so should say, place to abide. They are full taken care of, purified. So these three trainings are very important. So that's the glorious mother, Panchaparamita, the glorious the wisdom, transcendental wisdom. It is still like the mother who gives birth of our enlightened mind. Then here we have this called five excellencies. So thus I have heard once the Bhagavan was residing on Vulture Peak Mountain in Rajgir together with a great assembly of fully ordained monks and a great assembly of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Bhagavan entered the samadhi of the enumeration of phenomena called the perception of the profound. So in this, the five excellency, the excellent teacher, the Buddha, perfect teacher, and then this samadhi called perception of profound. That is the perfect Dharma teaching. And then that's the time, is that the perfect time. And the assembly of fully ordained monks and a great assembly of bodhisattvas, which shows both who are ordained and not ordained lay people. So bodhisattva, lay bodhisattva, or the ordained bodhisattva. So this kind is five excellency. We should not understand that. It's not something mythical or somebody said so. Instead, has a complete, perfect condition. Buddha is there. And at that time, when Buddha was surrounded by all the assemblies of the Sangha practitioners, Buddha, the time, and then the assembly of the practitioners and the Dharma teaching. Okay. Dhamma Punso, Shu Punso, Dhamma, and then the Kuru Punso Sopa, Yu Punso Sopa. And the perfect place is called the Vulture Peak. You know? So these five all together with that occasion, then the teachings is applied. Now, samadhi of the enumeration of the phenomena called the perception of the profound, perception of the appearance of profound. In Tibetan, we have called Samu Nawa Shizawa. Samu is profound. Nawa is appearance, something like. So profound means emptiness. There are two types of emptiness we should understand. No? Emptiness, you say, when you investigate, like this bell, as yesterday mentioned, when you investigate this bell, where's the bell? No, this, all, so you find it's just empty. Through all the dust particle, you look at the dust particle, investigate, as mentioned, like the scientists, the quantum physics theory in that. And then you find it's empty by nature. By finding the nature of this bell itself is nothing but empty. But it's not so much. It's just, you say it's empty. Doesn't mean so much. It's just empty. Now, we're here to understand emptiness, to practice the emptiness, that which becomes the direct cause to uproot our delusions. That emptiness is something related to the wisdom, our inside wisdom that realizes the nature itself. To have that kind of wisdom, it depends on many causes. As yesterday I mentioned, that the two accumulations, accumulation of merit and accumulation of wisdom. You know, in the Mondo, you know that taking refuge and purification, Vajrasattva, and mandala practices, and Guru devotion, Guru yoga, and bodhicitta. So these are the conditions that we need to realize the emptiness. So emptiness is not something just mere empty. This is wisdom. Wisdom that allows us to see all our delusions, mental afflictions are nothing but the nature is empty. When you realize that, then there's no cause of suffering. See, that's the purpose, you see. In the world, you see, everywhere is suffering. Of course, there are physical suffering, but the most suffering is due to the mental afflictions, mental delusions. You see, everywhere you see, from the head of the country to the people on the street. When these mental afflictions are purified, the great teacher who realized the emptiness, the Mahamudra, they age, but they age full of peace, joy. They get sick, but their sickness is no longer brings such great pain. Instead, they get sick, but they get sick with a great peace in the mind. Then eventually they die without fear, which will come here in the Heart Sutra, So no fear, you see. That kind of realization of emptiness is not just mere empty, that intellectual emptiness. It's emptiness of the wisdom that we experience. Need to that. That's why Dharma is important. It's not just a belief system. It's not just a religion thing, It's not just a culture thing. Rather, it is the way how to free from all the suffering. So to manifest that kind of realization of the emptiness, Here, emptiness means wisdom of the mind, realizing nature of the emptiness. That wisdom to manifest, then we need all those purification. First, you see, they are in the Uttara Tantra mentioned. One need called unclenching devotion to mind teachings, Buddha's teaching. The mind needs such a powerful devotion to the Buddha's teaching. That's why we take refuge in the Dharma. Taking refuge in the Buddha, taking refuge in the Dharma. Then we need a wisdom to see the nature of the samsara. Samsara is nothing but state of suffering. And enlightenment state is total freedom of the suffering. So we have to have, even before we realize the nirvana, even before we free from samsara, we need that kind of wisdom to see this. So, second. Third, we need great compassion to all the sentient beings. Because if the sentient beings, as just mentioned, everyone in the samsara are within the state of suffering. They are physically suffering and they're creating the cause of suffering. While they are experiencing the suffering, at the same time, they keep creating the cause of suffering. So the vicious cycle of the samsara unending through this. So develop such a great compassion. With this compassion, the third, then fourth need, as I mentioned, samatha, the samadhi, meditative concentration. The samadhi is indispensable for to kindle the light of the wisdom. We need the wisdom to see things precisely on the base of the samadhi. So these are such, these four very critically important. Our devotion to the Dhamma, Mahayana Dhamma teachings. Bodhisattva's way of practicing that Mahayana. And then wisdom to understand reality, nature of the samsara, nirvana. And then great compassion. So that great compassion is based on the loving kindness. Then on that base, then developing the samadhi, meditative concentration. So these four are the very important causality to develop the ultimate bodhicitta, to realize the Heart Sutra teaching, the wisdom. So that is first we need that. So that's the perception of the profound. The Buddha was meditating at that time, or into the Bhagavan means Buddha. Bhagavan means the blessed one. The blessed one is the Buddha who went into the samadhi, such as called the Chögyin Namtang. Chögyin Namtang. Wisdom, there's two types of wisdom. Knowing everything as it is, and knowing all things. So within the knowing as it is emptiness. And within that emptiness, everything manifests. So there's what's called omniscient, knowing all, omniscient. So that's what here is saying, Buddha. The profundity nature of the Buddha's mind is total realization of the emptiness. Within this emptiness, then Buddha has that wisdom, knowing everything. So these two wisdoms are inseparable. So Buddha was within that state. So at that time, noble our Lord Yeshwara, Papa Chandrasik, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, he was Bodhisattva. Mahasattva means who was in the 10th bhumi, or 8th, 9th, 10th bhumi is called Mahasattva. While practicing the profound Paramita, means while meditating within in the emptiness wisdom, or wisdom of emptiness, then saw the following. He saw the 5 skandha to be empty of nature. Because of he was meditating all pervading emptiness, abiding that state. Because of that, the 5 skandha also within that state, which means that their nature is empty. So 5 skandha, yesterday I mentioned briefly, as you said, that in the 5 skandha, all the phenomena, that's what we study, that's what we all practice within that 5 skandha. The form, feeling, perception, and formation, and consciousness. See. In the form, you see there are also within the form, the body, what we have, the 4 elements. And then this relation to that, our eye, ears, nose, tongue, body. And then the object of the eye is called form. The object of the ear is called sound. Object of the nose is called smell. Object of the tongue is called the taste. Object of the body is called tactile. So all this what we see in the world, what we hear, what we smell, taste, touch, everything is within that form. So it's very inclusive, all these things in the world. You can see all the aeroplanes, trains, cars, and the internets, what you can see, what you can hear, all within the form. It's a big subject, you see. All the play of this. Now it's mentioned this, since it is empty, so manifesting gift. Every time there's something new. So anyhow, our Lord Deshwara, Chandrasik. So meditating on this emptiness, within emptiness, he's seeing all this 5 skandha, 5 aggregates. The nature is empty. That kind of wisdom is there. When that wisdom is there, as I mentioned, then all the mental afflictions has no space. And the mind is free. See, our mind is blocked, become limited because of our mental afflictions, mental delusions, you can see. When your attachment, you're stuck there. You cannot go further there. When you have anger, you're stuck there, mind is, you see. When mind is free of attachment, aversion, then mind just flows. space, as you see. That's why Dharma study is why so important, you see. It's not something cultural you believe, rather how to free ourselves from all the bondage. You see, that's why Buddha's teaching is so important. No things in the world that kind of teach us. There's so many beautiful things you can see around. You can go everywhere, anywhere. A lot of good things you can see, but you cannot find such kind of wisdom as Buddha's teaching. So to give rise, just as I mentioned, to give rise that kind of wisdom, we need all those conditions. As yesterday I mentioned, interdependent, dependent arising. Everything's interdependent. When one cause is missing, the other doesn't work. So to all the things what you need together, come together, then we can, that kind of is works. Just make a cup of tea. When you make a cup of tea, you need, it's just a cup of tea. But to make a cup of tea, how much things you need? So you need stove, you need a pot, you need water, you need tea itself. You need to know how to cook it, how to make the tea. And then if you need milk also for sugar, all things you need, when everything comes together just to make a cup of tea. If one is missing, we cannot make a cup of tea. So like this in our meditation practice, this inner is interdependent. Look at this. So we need a lot of purifications. Regarding to the purification practice, if you read Jewel Ornament of Liberation in that section, in the section of the bodhicitta, to develop bodhicitta, Kambupa mentioned, there's preparation, actual cultivation of the bodhicitta, and the conclusion. At the beginning, preparation in that section, so making offering to all the Buddhas, and then second, purification. In that purification section, Kambupa explains so beautifully about the purification, how to purify our mental afflictions, our negative, the cause of suffering. Kambupa mentions, we create negative karma through the mental afflictions for our own benefit in this life, for our friends, to get rid of enemies, but these to accumulate wealth. So these are just only for this life. When you leave behind for next life, none of them follow us. Our body has to leave behind. We have to leave body behind. All the accumulation of wealth we have to leave behind. Our enemies we call, they leave behind. All the fame, all these things we have to leave behind. So you see, but the negative karma we have created will follow life after life, life after life, become the cause of suffering. So therefore, as when we have the precious human life, it's the best opportunity to purify. That's what Dharma practice is about. When we purify more, then the mind becomes sensitive. Say, this is non-virtue, cause of suffering. This is virtue, cause for peace and happiness. I better pay attention. You see, there are some individuals you see, they don't care. So first of all, they will say, what? It doesn't make sense, virtue and non-virtue. Why does it become non-virtue? Why does it become virtue? If you kill a cockroach, so why it becomes non-virtue? What it means, So for them, it doesn't make sense. So this is virtue, this is non-virtue when you talk about, because they have no, how do we say, merit in their mind to see these things. So we who have this kind of awareness, understanding this virtue, this is non-virtue. So then we purify the non-virtues, develop the virtue. So fortunate. It's inner-born. We accumulated that quality, and it's very fortunate. Because I myself also saw, I met some people, they're arguing. So you're talking about this non-virtue. Why it is non-virtue? What it makes non-virtue? Doesn't make sense. It is the nature, So like that kind of thing, I'm sure you have also experienced in our life. So we need to purify as much as possible. Well, we have this opportunity, feeling of so fortunate, and then practice the Dharma teachings. That's that he saw the 5 skandhas to be empty of nature. So empty of nature, as yesterday I mentioned also briefly, is one not making empty, which is not, but we have to understand how everything functions within the emptiness. So by nature, so as yesterday I mentioned, the sound of the bell, how the sound, we can hear the sound, but it's nowhere, it's everywhere. You can see the nature itself is empty. So all this phenomena you can see, it's like a reflection of the moon in the lake. The moon's reflection in the lake, you see very precisely, clearly. If you try to touch the reflection, you cannot touch. You can see it. So through this example, what we can understand is all these phenomena which surround us. It's a reflection of our karma. Karma we have created through many lifetimes, including this life. It's a reflection of our karma and reflection of our mind. It's two, we should understand. Reflection of the karma and reflection of the mind. So like this regarding to our, let's say, the 6 realms of the suffering of the 6 realms, you see, that we call hell realm, hungry ghosts, animal, human being, demigod, God realms. Sometimes we see, where's the hell realm, the hungry ghosts, I know what we see is human beings and animal realm. There's 2 realms we see. To these 2 realms, we can relate to the 6 realms. Just for our own life, just look, Sometimes physically, there's such great pain, torturing. I see some people, I met some people, they say, they have such great pain. So they cannot accept that pain. So they inject through this spine. Have you heard of that? It's inject through the spine to get the relief from that pain. So that kind of pain is like a hell realm. You see, that is self, you see. Also mentally sometimes real, traumatized. And you feel now there's no hope. So that kind of feeling in the mind is like hell realm. Then, see, sometimes you feel hungry, literally really hungry. Or sometimes in the mind, you feel, say, I have nothing. What should I do? How I should survive? See, lot of fear there, like a hungry ghost, Even you may have enough, but in the mind, there's a lot of fear. What if that happens? This is a hungry ghost, mentally, physically there. And animals, you can see it. Sometimes in our mind, also we feel stupid. Well, you're meditating, they're chanting mantra. Then sometimes you feel, what I'm doing here, wasting my time, I should be doing something else. This chanting mantra or sitting, watching breath doesn't make sense, So feel like so stupid, like animal. Then as a human being, well, so no need to mention about we are suffering of aging and so forth. And then sometimes the mind involves with a lot of jealous, the demigod. And sometimes you feel this life is so beautiful. Good weather, like today I see now good weather is coming. So it's like a God realm, So we see as a human being, we have all the experience of the six realms. You should understand that, So, so look at these suffering, reflect. I'm not saying everything's bad, but we have to understand where our life is about. So that will help us to study, practice Dharma, will help us to inspire Dharma study, practice. And do that. So, and also in the Shantideva's text mentioned, reflecting on the suffering has a great value. Gives us opportunity to develop compassion to all the sentient beings, including our family. When our family is going through suffering, how much you care, how much you will work to free them from suffering. You are concerned. So then expand the mind to all the sentient beings, to develop that kind of mind, compassion. So because of suffering, we get that kind of great opportunity to develop compassion. And then look at the suffering in the world. It's because of the suffering, looking at the suffering, the cause of suffering is non-virtue. So it gives us wisdom to see the non-virtue, the cause of the suffering, and encourage us to free from this all non-virtue. So these great value, mental qualities can give rise, reflecting on the suffering. So suffering we should not take as always negative. Rather, it's opportunity. Reflect on opportunity, manifest there all the wisdom and compassion, good qualities. So this we always should reflect about the impermanence. reflect on the suffering of the samsara, reflect on the causality of the samsara, called karmic, is called inexorable karmic causation, and infallible karma and cause. Karma result and is the fruit. So as 5 skandha to be empty of nature. So there are 5 skandha. Before seeing the nature of the emptiness, first to understand all these things. Then through the power of the Buddha. So here power, in Tibetan we have this, two, power of Buddha's blessing, we should say, but through the power through the blessing of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra spoke thus to noble Avalokiteshvara. The Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, train, how should a son of noble family or a daughter of noble family train who wishes to practice the profound Panjapara metta. So here, noble family means who has, first of all, who has the Buddha nature, which everyone has. And secondly, who have developed bodhicitta, okay, who's belong to Mahayana family, who has, so family here means Rik, which can follow the path towards the enlightenment. Which is the profound, it is the profound Panjapara metta. So, son of the noble family or the daughter of the noble family. It is the profound Panjapara metta should see this way, to see the 5 skandhas to be empty by nature. So this now noble Avalokiteshvara says this way, response to the Shariputra. Now we should understand that those who are interested to free from samsara, to achieve enlightenment, to realize the wisdom of the emptiness, then should see this. All these phenomena is empty by nature. They should see this way. They see the 5 skandhas to be empty by nature. Form is emptiness. Also, is the form. Emptiness, no other than form. Form is no other than emptiness. So this now, as yesterday we have discussed a little bit about, you say, all these things that we see, the nature is inseparable from the emptiness. Inseparable from emptiness is not just making empty, but rather see as empty. Empty of the mental afflictions. Empty of what we see things that itself is not different from the emptiness. But we have to have the wisdom to see that So that's why I say form is emptiness. Now, when we intellectually investigation of the form as emptiness and realization of the form as emptiness, so that first we investigate how everything functions within in the emptiness as the quantum physics theory. Then after that, when we put into practice, realize ourselves. So where I am, what's me? Where is myself? Realize that, meditate on that, and you see that my holding of I is nowhere. I cannot find as I am grasping. So when I see that nature, where I could meditate on this, then the mind is totally calm and peace. That nature of the emptiness realization makes me to free from all the suffering and free from all the boundary. So look at this, from this, from the ground Mahamudra, and this is a path that we go through step by step, and then realize that nature is emptiness. So therefore, form is emptiness. And that emptiness is no other than form. So say emptiness is also is form. That what I see, that form is emptiness, and emptiness itself is the form. So emptiness is no other than form. So that, see, what it does is it cuts the nihilism and eternalism. When I see the emptiness, the form as emptiness, it cuts the eternalism. What I see, real things there, that itself is empty. It's not something permanent. It's not a tangible thing. It's like a rainbow. And then when I see as emptiness, it's not just nihilist emptiness, but emptiness also is form. The form itself is the emptiness. So it cuts the nihilism and eternalism. So, form is no other than emptiness. Yeah. So emptiness is so enlightenment is within here. No place go outside. No outside we can go to for enlightenment. So enlightenment is within us. When we have that wisdom, that five skandha, that what we have, that very five skandha itself is nature of the emptiness. And when we have the wisdom of that, and that wisdom allows us to achieve the enlightenment. So no other place to go. So having said that, so then the samsara itself is nirvana. And when we don't realize nature of the samsara, then it is samsara. When you realize nature of the samsara itself, then it's nirvana. So, in the same way, then there's a way feeling. Now you can say, feeling is emptiness. Emptiness is the feeling. And the feeling is emptiness. Emptiness is feeling. There's no emptiness other than feeling. Feeling,
No emptiness, no feeling is other than emptiness. Emptiness, no feel, other than feeling. Likewise, discrimination. So feeling what we have, feeling good, feeling not good. Today I feel good, today I don't feel good. And we're so attached to this. And we have aversion, feeling not good. So that feeling not good is suffering. No? And feeling good is attachment. It's also cause of suffering. So when you realize this nature of the feeling itself is emptiness, and feeling not good is also emptiness, then it makes the mind free from the suffering. No, aversion and attachment, both are purified. No? Likewise, discrimination. Discrimination means feeling, perception. Here is mentioned discrimination is perception. You perceive something good. You perceive something not good. Or perceive big, small. We have that kind of duality state of the mind. So through this wisdom, when you allow to see that the good, you say, that's a better. When you have the better feeling, good is no longer good. Good is bad. And then it's like that. It's all relative state. No? And meditate on this way, perception. When there's, when you look at this table, here's a Vajra, Table is long, bigger. And the bell, this Vajra is small, you see. Then you see, when you look at this table, this is no longer big. This is smaller because of this. So this is the relative state at being a bigger table. Then if you go longer, this table is small. And then compared to this table is smaller. Then this is more smaller. Like that where everything is relative state. This perception, when you have that kind of perception of this, meditating on the emptiness, so everything's relative state. So this being longer is empty by being this longer, and by being this shorter, and by being this Vajra, it makes it empty. So this is how everything becomes emptiness and relative state. In the relative state, you see all this good and bad, big and small, all are relative state. That relative state is all are natural empty. So you can say perception. And formation. Mental formation is also same. Formation is emptiness, and emptiness is formation. And formation is formation is emptiness. There's no emptiness than formation. Formation is no other than emptiness. Likewise, consciousness is emptiness. So these five skandha, look at this, all five skandha, look at this and meditate on the nature of the emptiness. Then mind is free from all the boundary. And then there's nothing to attach to. There's nothing to have the aversion. So when the mind is free from the aversion and attachment, then you see all are just all pervading wisdom. It's a realization of the emptiness. So thus Shariputra, all phenomena are emptiness. So then there are 8 characteristics of emptiness. Thus Shariputra, all phenomena are emptiness. Without characteristics. So within in the emptiness, there's nothing to characterize. So that's why it's called without characteristics. When this bell is empty by nature, when you see the bell is empty by nature, then within that emptiness, there's no such called characteristics of good or bad or right or wrong. So it's called no characteristics, or it's called there's no attributes. There's no attributes within the emptiness without arising. So within emptiness, there's nothing to arise. So meditate in there. When you look at the here, in the mind, in the thought comes in the mind, and then you meditate there. All the thought arises in the relative state, but that dissolves into emptiness. And that dissolving into emptiness itself is arising. So there's no separation of emptiness and arising. So there's nothing to arise. Means there's nothing to hold on. There's nothing to grasp. Holding, grasping, nothing. You just reflect there, meditate. So that is the characteristic of the emptiness, nothing to rise. So without arising, without ceasing. So when you see the mind, it's the thought itself. Since that nature itself is emptiness, there's nothing to cease. So emptiness itself there's nothing to, it's because of the being emptiness, there's nothing to arise, there's nothing to cease. So without ceasing, without stand. So that mind itself is pure. So there's no stand to purify because the stand itself is empty. When the mind, there's some attachment in there, in the mind there, look at it directly where the attachment is. And you see attachment is nowhere. It's non-existence. So when you see that non-existence of the stand, is without stand, no obscurations. See? And it's calm, without stand, and not without stand. It's neither, it's not one side. It's in Tibetan called Chinyimeba, Majiba, Mangaba, Dimameba. There's no, since there's no stand, so it's called not without stand. So this we have to meditate in the mind. When the mind is free from all the stands, and that itself is none, that itself is called not without stand. this what shows is first mind is stand, then purified. If that is the case, then we should not say not without stand. But initially, mind itself is free from all the stand. So therefore it said not without stand. Without decrease. So there's the mind itself, there's nothing to decrease and nothing to increase. So without increase, without decrease. So these are the eight, it's called the eight characteristics of the emptiness. Eight characteristics of the emptiness. The emptiness is then described, not just mere empty. We have to study on this, like, why there's characteristics, where there's no arising, where there's no ceasing, where there's no stand, or nor without stand, without decrease, without increase. The pure mind itself is where it is, where it abides within the mind, within in the emptiness. When you realize the mind as empty, then you can see all the qualities of the mind. That fearlessness, Buddha's, we should say, there are four fearlessnesses of the Buddha's wisdom. When Buddha said, I attain Buddhahood, there's nothing to purify. Everything is purified. Within there's nothing to purify. So nobody can come to Buddha say you have not purified. So Buddha has no fear to say that I have purified all obscurations. When Buddha said, I know everything, when Buddha said, I know everything, that means Buddha knows all the nature of the samsara and nirvana. And there's nobody can come to Buddha say, you don't know this. No. So this all developed within in the emptiness, realization of the emptiness. When you see, when Buddha lead the sentient beings towards the enlightenment, if you cultivate bodhicitta, this will lead you towards the enlightenment, Buddhahood. There, nobody can come, say to Buddha, no, bodhicitta will not allow you to achieve Buddhahood. See? Then, with the aversion, with the ignorance, when Buddha said, if you have ignorance, if you have the aversion, you will not free from samsara. Nobody will come to Buddha say this will, no, the ignorance is not the obstruction for the enlightenment. Ignorance is not impediment for the enlightenment. Nobody can say that about it. Nobody can come say no, say challenge to Buddha. So Buddha is that's what's called free from all the fears. So because of the realization of the total emptiness. So of course, on the way to Buddhahood, there are many levels of the realization of the emptiness, like say, which will come later. The so no, step by realization of the emptiness. But when you achieve Buddhahood, all this is now the fearlessness that Buddha has achieved. So this is how first is, without decrease, without increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness, there's no form. So there's no independent form. There's no substantial form that you see. Whatever you see in the world, all are just a manifestation of the emptiness and nature of the emptiness. So first, from the five skandha, there's no form. There's no form. Then repeating again, there's no feeling, there's no discrimination, or there's no perception, there's no formation. Yeah. Then next is there's coming no formation, no consciousness, no eye, no ear. So this is called the first five skandha. Then there's 18 dhatu, 18 dhatu. Then there's called 12 increasing field. 12 increasing field. No, there's no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no formation, then no consciousness, no eye, no consciousness, then no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind. So that is the 12 ayatanas. And that's called no eye consciousness, no ear consciousness, no nose consciousness, no tongue consciousness, no mind consciousness, no body consciousness, 6. And then no form, no sound, no odor, no taste, no body tactile, no formation, just 12 increasing field. Then next there comes, say, 18 dhatus. So no mind, no form, no sound, no smell, and no taste, no tangible objects, no phenomena. So these the 12 ayatanas. Then there comes 18, as mentioned, 18 dhatus. No eye dhatu, up to no mind dhatu, no dhatu of phenomena, no mental consciousness dhatu. So these, there are 18 dhatu or 18 elements is called. That all of us say, no eye dhatu, no eye element. Eye element, and no eye element, no ear element, no nose element, no tongue element, no body element, no consciousness element. And then there comes the 6, the object, form, then say the sound, the smell, the taste, and then the tangible object and the phenomena. Then next there's eye consciousness, ear consciousness, no consciousness, no tongue consciousness, the body consciousness, mental consciousness. So this makes the 18 elements. So all phenomena are divided into these three categories. The 5 aggregates, 12 ayatanas, and they call 12 increasing field, or the 18 dhatu, or 18 elements. So these all within in the emptiness. But as mentioned, it's not just mere empty. It's how everything functions within the emptiness. Within the emptiness, all this classification, all distinctively, you can see it, you can understand each and every one, what is play within the emptiness. So to realize this, then we need that wisdom to see their nature, how they are functioning within in the emptiness. Always in the way to free from all this to free from all the boundaries. Say. Then there comes here no ignorance, no termination of ignorance up to no aging and death, and no termination of aging and death. So this is 12 interdependent. Okay, we should say 12 interdependent. First, we have to count 12 interdependence. Ignorance, and then formation, marik duche, formation, and consciousness. From ignorance, which within that confusion, ignorance. From that ignorance of the mind, we create the karma. It's called formation. From the formation, the karma that we carry is called consciousness. Consciousness is conceived in the mother's womb. It's called name and form. Then the name and form, the name and the form, that brings the increasing field. That 6 increasing field. 6 increasing field brings the contact. Eye contact with form, ear contact with the sound, the nose contact with the smell, the tongue contact with the taste, the body contact with the tangible object, the mind contact with the phenomena. So it's called contact. After we contact with the object, then there comes the feeling, as we described, feeling of good, feeling of neutral, feeling of not good. So when there's feeling of good, there's called attachment, seva. So then when there's attachment there, that's called craving, grasping, grasping feelings there. You grasp what you attach to. Then that comes the existence. We create the karma. The 10th is called karma existence, sipa in Tibetan. So from that, then we are born. It's a birth. 11. When the birth is there, then start the day when we are born. From that day, we start aging. So aging and death. So 12. So interdependent. That's how in the samsara goes round. From the ignorance, look at the ignorance, you see. Not understanding about the samsara, not understanding of the enlightenment. We just indulge our life in the samsara, the samsaric activities, and just continue, as you mentioned, as I listed all the names, formation, consciousness, so forth. Once we are born, we age and die. And during the time of death, there's a lot of confusion, disparage, suffering there. And then we die. And again, according to the karma, we're reborn. That's how it continues to rebirth in the samsara. So this is a very important point. So these 12 interdependence we can put into 3 categories. First, ignorance. The 8, craving, or say, attachment. The 9th, craving. These 3 are mental afflictions. And then Nipa Jupa Lendas, the second is formation, and the 10th is existence. So these 2 are within in the category of the karma. Once we have this mental formation of these 3 emotions and the 2 karma, then they manifest the result, the suffering, consciousness, and then name and form, increasing field, contact, and birth and aging within the context of the suffering. So you can see how samsara is continued that way. Life after life, life after life, due to lack of the wisdom. Oh, so can you repeat? No. Now, when you have wisdom, such kind of wisdom, when you have, you see the ignorance. Where's the ignorance? The same. No, here is mentioned as no ignorance, no termination of ignorance up to no aging and death, and no termination of aging and death. See. When you look at this nature of the ignorance, where the ignorances exist. Now, as earlier I mentioned, this 2, karma abiding and wisdom awareness, synchronize the mind with the shamatha and the critical insight. When the shamatha and wisdom awareness, when they work together, so where is the ignorance? You cannot find ignorance anywhere. So, as I mentioned, like I said, when you use the bell, when you ring the bell, then you say, oh, it's just play of the causes and conditions. So not understanding of that sound, that interdependence of this sound and the bell itself. Ignorance is not access anywhere. So when you realize that ignorance is not exist anywhere, God, he says, here mentioned termination, it says it. Termination. Termination means purified. It's called non-existence. When you realize non-existence of the ignorance, then you see, you understand all the rest. There's no reason to create karma formation. There's no consciousness to carry the karma. Then you don't reborn or say conceived in the mother's womb. And then through that, step by step, all the rest of the 12 links are dislinked. And that's what's called free from samsara. So wisdom, awareness that allow us to see this nature of the samsara, the state of the nirvana, when we have the wisdom. We cannot say samsara is nirvana when we have not realized, see, when we have not realized samsara, the nature is empty. No, this is nirvana. But when we realize samsara is nothing but all are interdependent, interconnected. And you see that samsara itself is nirvana. That's what it's called, interdependent, called 12 interdependent link. Okay, so that's what. Then when we are not born, there's nothing to age. All this link, how to free from samsara. Okay. Then next is said, no suffering, no origin, no cessation, no cessation, no path. So this is the Four Noble Truths. These are the Four Noble Truths, okay? First, you see, Four Noble Truths, as we know, first Buddha taught the Four Noble Truths. Since we are suffering in the samsara, so Buddha introduces us. You should know these are the suffering, and you should know about the suffering. So there's a suffering of change, pervasive suffering. The suffering of suffering, that what we have, that what everybody see, physical suffering, mental suffering. Physically, when we get sick, aging, death, so forth. And mentally, you see, when there's a depression, when we're upset, we're not happy. Everybody knows this. So that we no need to say so much because we know it. But suffering of change, you see, the samsaric peace and happiness, they don't last long. They change into suffering, like a weather. In the morning, very good weather, sunshine, pleasant, not so hot. So I say beautiful, but that doesn't last long. When the cloud comes, when the rain comes, when there's rain, cloud comes, then we start the suffering of change. I say, when we are hungry, we know I'm hungry, I'm suffering. So then I get a very good lunch, start eating good lunch. I feel so happy. I got such beautiful lunch, If that is really cause for my happiness, more I eat, happier should I be. But if I eat too much, it changes to suffering,
called suffering of change. Or another words, which say, I got a good lunch, so I'm happy. But after some hours, few hours, again I feel hungry. So that happiness doesn't last long. So suffering of change, you know. So all the samsara look around everywhere. Suffering of change. And pervasive suffering is called, as long as we have this five skandha with us and grasping on that, holding of ego, and then with mental afflictions and creating karma, we are under the condition of suffering. No matter where we are, in the desire world, in the form world, in the formless world, wherever we are under the condition of suffering. So suffering is pervaded. That Buddha introduced us. You should know about this all suffering. Look at very precisely. So don't attach to your happiness in the samsara. And once we got this message, understand about the nature of this suffering, then Buddha said, avoid the cause of suffering. These are the cause of suffering, like 10 non-virtues. Look at the 10 non-virtues listed. So this is the cause of suffering. Avoid, purified, is cause of suffering. Meditate on we know. Utilize, make sense if it does or not. It's called Gyaltsen, Kunjung, Rabye. Yes, the origin of suffering, the cause of suffering. It's a condition of suffering. Gyaltsen, Kunjung. The suffering comes from that. Gyaltsen, Kunjung, Rabye. Fully manifest from that, and it's called cause of suffering. We should avoid the 10 non-virtues, delusions, so forth, all this. So meditate on this. Then after that, Buddha said, these are the true causality of samsara. And the true causality of the nirvana is the cessation of suffering and the path to the cessation. Once we are free from this cause of suffering, then one will achieve the cessation. Means we uprooted the cause of the suffering. When we uprooted the cause of suffering, the suffering is not there. So suffering ceases to exist when the cause is totally uprooted. It's called nirvana. Nirvana, or the cessation of suffering. Now, how to achieve that state? It's called take the path, the eightfold path, eight noble path. So the right view, right thought, right action. So right view is the view of the Madhyamika, the view of the Mahamudra. We have to understand that. We have to use that as a path towards enlightenment. Then according to that right view, we have to right thought and put action according to that, free from the 10 non-virtues and act on the 10 virtues. That action,
the right livelihood, and then say right effort, right mindfulness, right samadhi, meditative state. So this is the 8-fold path that we take as a method to achieve the cessation, to purify all the cause of the suffering. Mhm. No cessation, no path, no wisdom, no attainment. Then yes, here comes no wisdom. Here, no wisdom means when there's no object to know, everything, when you realize everything is emptiness. The object is emptiness, subject is emptiness. When you transcend this duality mind, there's no wisdom, Carl. It doesn't mean the Buddha has no wisdom to see things precisely, but there's no duality in between. No? So this is called no wisdom. So that itself, when we realize the Four Noble Truths, the nature of the Four Noble Truths, the nature of the 12 interdependent links, when you precisely understand about these things, then you see there's nothing to attain, nothing to achieve or forward. No? So no attainment and no non-attainment, neither to achieve nor none to achieve, free from duality. It's called non-duality state of the enlightenment. So this all follows the path. The path is here as just I have read, Gate gate paragate parasam gate bodhis. Gate 2, paragate 3, parasam gate 4, bodhi 5. So it's called the 5 paths that we go through. No? So this morning may be here, and this time, if you have any questions, if you have, okay. Yes.
Thank you. What?
Yes.
Oh, thank you for a beautiful teaching.
Okay.
We're so fortunate.
Okay.
So everything you said applies to the dream state also.
Dream state.
Yes. Now we have the waking dream, the sleeping dream, and the bardo.
Uh-huh.
So during the waking dream, I can think about these things and try to become awake from this dream. But in the sleeping dream, I haven't achieved what we call being lucid or awake, knowing I'm dreaming. I have good dreams and sometimes blessing dreams.
Okay.
But how will I wake up in the bardo if I can't wake up in the sleeping dream?
That as just I mentioned, the 3 training. Okay. The 3 trainings are indispensable to realize these things. Okay. On the ground of the pure morality state, when you establish the samadhi, when you establish the samadhi in a very stable way, that samadhi becomes the foundation to you to realize or to see the dreaming. Yeah. In our busy life, like nowadays. No, there's no any way to see that because mind is so busy. When you establish, as mentioned, the samadhi, stable samadhi, then you go to sleep consciously, okay, which we cannot, because due to lack of the samadhi. When you have good samadhi, as mentioned, then you go to sleep. You go to sleep, but you know sleep step by step. You go to sleep without forgetting the continuity of your mind. And then you see when there's a dream comes, you can see, oh, this is a dream. Lucid dream. Okay. Then when you see the lucid dream, oh, this is a dream. It's like daytime, nighttime, dream. Everything's dream, nothing but dream. Nothing is real. No? And you see, you have that wisdom, awareness. See? So you see these, whether it's daytime or nighttime, this samadhi is very important method for both realization. So as yesterday mentioned, you have heard of my mother teaching so many times in your life, but still our mind stays ordinary. You know, our mental afflictions manifest as ordinary. You know? Because we have not captured that realization due to lack of the samadhi.
Sometimes when I realize this life is a dream,
Yes.
it feels uncomfortable. Like
Why?
I want to wake up.
Now
And
you
things
already
don't-
wake up.
Things don't seem real. Things don't seem real because it's a dream. So I want to be able to wake up.
This, if you realize this life as a dream, there's nothing to wake up. It itself is wake up.
Okay. Thank you for the blessings.
Yeah, there's nothing to wake up beyond that. No, that itself is wake up.
Mm.
You see, everything's dream. Now, if you feel sad, means you have attachment. You have attachment to this life. Oh, life is dream like a dream. Now there's nothing to attach. I feel so sad, you know.
Thank you, Khenchen, for such
Yes.
beautiful teachings and answers. Anne has a follow-up question. She's basically saying, like, in the daytime, I don't feel there's a samadhi that I have achieved.
Yes.
But in the dreams, she's actually encountering like frightening scenes.
Yeah.
And she calls out to the guru. Like, why is that? What would cause that? What would be the reason?
I'm not, he or she. You. What was the question?
Oh, so she's asking, like, she doesn't think she has samadhi in
Uh-huh.
the daytime.
Oh, daytime.
But
Okay.
during the dream, like if there's some like bad
Things happen.
bad things happen,
Then
she
you
calls out to the guru
call guru.
or call the bodhisattva.
Oh,
And why is that?
First of all, it's a good thing, you know. You have a kind of, say, devotion to the guru. It's a very good potential, positive, you know. And then say, then you say, it depends on your awareness. If you have a kind of understanding real, then you call the guru,
and request the blessings. And then you say, first of all, say, give me all the capacity, mental ability to realize, the Guru's mind and my mind are inseparable. You see, as we have here, Guru Yoga. Guru Yoga practice means about that. When you visualize, like here in this first page, when you have this short Guru Yoga there, you visualize, so here in this case, Jigta Sunggun in front of you. You supplicate. First, you take refuge, cultivate bodhicitta in front of that. And then you supplicate. After that, Guru's compassion, blessings, and your devotions, due to this interdependent, you receive 4 empowerments, step by step. Purify your physical obscurations, then verbal obscurations, mental obscurations, and receive the 4th empowerment. Then after that, Guru dissolves into light, just dissolve into you, and you become inseparable. See, this is Guru devotion. It's about that. So through this, you utilize Guru devotion, not just as I want this, not just that one. That's the what you call method. A method to unite your mind and the Guru's mind. Guru's mind means Buddha's mind. Okay, here Guru is not something physical thing. It's Buddha's mind. So Buddha's mind unite your mind, your Buddha nature. So when Guru's mind is dissolved, Guru's is dissolved into you. So now my mind and Guru's mind are inseparable. So that means your Buddha nature is now become inseparable. In the part of teaching, if you have read, there's called clear light. Have you heard of clear light? The mother clear light, the sun clear light. No? So your meditation practice is called sun clear light. And then your fundamental basic nature itself is called mother clear light. So your practice, Guru uniting into your mind, is the practice way to your meditation practice is the sun clear light that to unite your fundamental Buddha nature.
Thank you, Khenchen.
Yes.
Would you also say the devotion to the Guru or the Buddha nature is also sort of a form of a samadhi? It's also a form of samadhi.
Samadhi. Oh yes, of course. All your practice, you can relate to the samadhi. Like when you say prayers, without wavering your mind, fully kind of continuity of step by step going there. It's samadhi. While you're saying this prayer, mind goes there's no samadhi. Okay. Oh, yes, I'm chanting this mantra, Oh, no. Then you chant the mantra. And then it's Oman Pemula. The man wandering here and there to your kitchen or in the market, they're driving here and there. No samadhi, you see. But instead, while you're chanting the mantra or these prayers, full attention what you are saying is part of samadhi. So that's why while you're walking, you can walk with samadhi. You see, that's called walking. You have heard of walking meditation, you see, and eating meditation. While you're eating, you just consciously eat, meditate.
So Milarepa said, I meditate while I'm walking. I meditate while I'm eating. I wish everyone has that. See?
Thank you, Khenchen.
Yes.
I had a question about and in origination, as you were explaining.
Mhm.
Did you say that consciousness comes into the womb and then name form?
Mhm.
Then name form comes.
Mhm.
So I wanted to ask first, really, what is name form? Is it just the sense of I? What is name form?
After consciousness, from 12 into independent. That is called, as soon as you conceived in the mother's womb, these organs are not obvious. In the mother's womb, the eye, consciousness, ear, consciousness, also not so obvious. That's called name and form. Form is the form that, just the moment is conceived as form. Within the name, then the other 5 skandha, the feeling, the perception, formation, consciousness there. But we call name because it's not obvious.
And does that explanation relate to the red and white bodhicitta and the blue home?
Yeah. That's what?
Name form is in the home?
No, this is no. This is no connection to that. Okay. This is wisdom and method. The red is wisdom, the white is method. Or red is wisdom, the white is compassion. And then say wisdom and compassion. Or you can say the white is body, Buddha's wisdom, body. Red is speech, and the blue hum is mind. Body, speech, mind. Okay? The body, speech, mind of the Buddha here together. Also now, method, wisdom, and the hung is which realizes the nature of this wisdom and method.
Is it separate from dependent origination because
Not separate.
it's not separate? Okay.
Everything is within in the framework of the interdependent.
Okay.
Hoa.
Yeah, thanks, Khenchen La. I have a similar question to Sandy's, which is, how may we apply the principle that you taught in the Heart Sutra with, for example, the home syllable visualization?
Home
The-
civilization.
Yeah, home visualization, because Gyaltsen Rinpoche has taught many times on the home visualization, either on the heart chakra or the navel chakra. Like how do you apply the principle we learned here, the emptiness, with that?
Yes, it's the same thing, So home, you see, no? As I mentioned, home, is the body, is the speech, and home is the mind. So, no? And then both body, speech, mind can dissolve into the home. No, to whom then from bottom upwards dissolve into emptiness. You see. So this that's what this means. It's all phenomena which we will discuss more. All are within in the mental state. Okay. Directly or indirectly, this whole samsara nirvana is the mind. In the Khenchen, in the Khenchen, there's one virtual statement. It's called Kunde Chugu Rangi Semnang Semgan Nawasam Horwa Samsara Nirvana. No Hornde Samsara Nirvana. All phenomena of samsara nirvana. It's just a projection of the mind, or just appearance of the mind, appearance of the mind. So we can discuss this afternoon about those things. Okay.
Thank you, Khenchen.
Yeah.
Thank you. I believe it's time for lunch.
Yeah. Okay. Want to say short dedication prayers? This here, we can say, this page 70. When you have if you have the text. Yeah, also I want to go through this this afternoon or tomorrow, this dedication prayers. It's really so good. All the teachings are here,
Glorious, holy, venerable, precious,
kind, root and lineage lamas, divine assemblies of the Yidams, assemblies of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Vedas, Yoginis, Dakinis, and Dakinis, dwelling in the 10 directions. Please hear my prayers. May all virtues collected in the 3 times by myself and all in samsara and nirvana and the innate root of virtue not result in 8 worldly concerns, the 4 causes of samsara, or ripening as a state of the Shalvaka or Patika Buddha. May all Mother Sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, mine, obstructors who harm, maras who mislead the words of demons, experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly attain unsurpassed, completely precious Buddhahood. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may I benefit all beings through my body, speech, and mind. May the afflictions of desire, hatred, ignorance, arrogance, and jealousy not arise in my mind. May present
reputation, wealth, and honor
in this life not arise for even a moment. May my mind stream be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta. And through that, may I become a spiritual master with good qualities equal to the infinite of space. May I gain supreme attainment of the Mahamudra in this very life. At the time of death, may the sufferer of the sovereign not arise. May I not arrive with negative thoughts. May I not die confused with wrong view. May I not experience an untimely death. May I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of the mind as such, and pervading clarity of Dharmata. May I in any case gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death in the battle. Thank you so much.